Okay, let's talk a little bit about these circles right here. The first three problems say you had to write an equation of the circle that passes through the given point and has a center at the origin. Now the origin means it's at 0, 0. That's what the origin means. Now, since the origin is for all these is at 0, it's going to be x to the second with no parentheses because there's nothing in the origin, 0, 0, plus y to the second equals blank, and I'm going to put a little r to the second right there. I'm going to do the same thing here and then right here, because that's always how a circle's set up. The center, x minus the center, but it's just 0, so I don't need to do anything in the parentheses. Okay, now how do you find the r to the second? Well, here's what you're going to do. You're just going to write x to the second x to the second plus y to the second equals r to the second, and you plug this point in for x and y. So x is 0, y is 4. So 0 to the second plus 4 to the second equals r to the second. And that's 0, and that's 16. So 16 equals r to the second. Okay, all I need to do is know r to the second. I don't even need to square root it. I just put 16 right there, and that's the answer. Okay, next one, same idea. This isn't the center, it's just a point on the circle, okay? So, just right there. So x to the second plus y to the second equals r to the second. So x I have 12 to the second. Y I have -5. That's a negative. You want to put that in parentheses. And r to the second. So that's 144. And that is positive 25. Any negative to the second ends up as a positive equals r to the second. So I add those, it's 169, and that's going to be what I put in here. So x to the second plus y to the second equals 169. Okay, again, this isn't the center point, so that's why it's not x plus 6 to the second, y plus 4 to the second. That's just a point on the circle. So let me just give you a little visual here of what they're talking about. Okay, so this is my center, and like -6, -4, that'd be left 6, down 4. That's a point. Then there's a circle. That's just a point. The -6, -4 is you can use it to find the radius. So, okay, so x to the second plus y to the second equals r to the second. Okay, so x is -6. Y, that's going to be -4, and r to the second. So that's 36 plus 16 equals r to the second, and if I add those, I get 52. Okay, so I just put 52 in there. Okay, and that's how you, when they give you the center, okay, and if the origin's 0, so it's x second plus y second, and then I use this point, as you can see, in the base equation to find the radius. Okay, now I need to write the equation of a circle with the following attributes. Now the center is no longer at 0, 0, it's at -1, -4. So what I need to do, since the center is not 0, 0, it won't be just x second plus y second. It'll have an x in parentheses minus, okay, but the center for the x is -1, so I need to make that +1, and then to the second, plus. And the y is not 0 either, so parentheses with a minus, but then that's -4, so we'll go to +4 to the second. And then I need to take my radius to the second power, 4 to the second, which is 16. Okay, so 16. Parentheses x plus 1 to the second plus y plus 4 to the second equals 16. Okay, likewise right here. Again, my center x is not 0, it's 5, so I need parentheses x and then always a minus, but it's not negative, so I'm going to keep it minus to the second plus, and then the y is not 0 either, y minus, and then 9 to the second. And then I'll need to take my 6 to the second power, and that's 36. Okay, and that is my answer there, and that is my answer here. Okay, for each equation, find the center and the radius of the circle. So here's my center and what the radius is. So the center, well, it's -3. Well, the opposite would have been +3, and the opposite of 1 would have been 1. And then to find the radius itself, remember the radius has been taken to the second power to get 36. So I have to go backwards, do the opposite of the second power, which is a square root, and that equals 6. Okay, next one, center. Opposite of +6 is -6. Y doesn't have anything, so that's going to be 0. And then find the radius, we need to find the square root of 121. That's 11. Okay. All right, for each equation, find the center and the radius of the circle. Now this is different because you got x to the second, but then there's an x to the first. So that's when we have to complete the square on my scratch paper and do the t-chart. So I have x to the second plus 8x plus blank, and I go ABC, plus y to the second, and then minus 10y plus blank equals 8. That's how you want to set that up when you see that you have letters to the first power. Okay, so to find those c's, I need to use the b over 2 to the second formula, and I need to use it twice. So the first b is 8, and my second b is -10, but I'm just going to put 10 because if I take it to the second, it just ends up being the same thing. So that's 4 to the second, that's 5 to the second, so that equals 16, that equals 25. So I'm going to bring in 16 and 25, but then I got to also add here plus 16 plus 25. Okay, now I'm going to factor those with a couple t-charts. A times c is going to be 16 positive. Sum of 8, got to be the same two factors, 4 and 4. Now that 8's plus, so they'll both be plus 4. So I need two parentheses. My a just equals 1 here, so it's just xx, and then plus 4, two identical factors. So I can now write this as x plus 4 to the second. And then I need to factor my y trinomial. So a times c, it's 25. Sum of 10. 5 and 5. And the 10's minus, so these 5's will both be minuses. And there's a's 1, so I just need 2. So y minus 5 minus 5. Okay, so it's going to be y minus 5 to the second. And then over here, it's 24 plus 25 is 49. So the center is -4 and +5. And then to find the radius, I find the square root of the number 49, and that's 7. Okay, number 9. Again, you got to set this up. X second minus 6x plus blank. And that's ABC. And then plus y to the second minus 2y plus blank. That's ABC. And I need to subtract that 4 out of there, and that's going to have a -4 on that side. I should have the constant terms on this side because I need to find my own set of constants. So b over 2 to the second and b over 2 to the second. So the b is 6 over 2 to the second, and then the other b is 2 over 2 to the second. Why am I not putting negative? Well, if I take some to the second power, the negative cancels. So that's 3 to the second, which is 9. That's 1 to the second, which is 1. So I bring in a 9 and a 1, but then I got to add a 9 and a 1 to this side. Okay, now I need to find two t-charts. So 1 times 9 is 9. Sum of 6, got to be the same two factors, 3 and 3. 6 is minus, so the 3's will both be minus to make -6, and the a is 1, so it's just two parentheses. Okay, so I can write that as x minus 3 quantity squared. Plus, now I got to do the same thing with the y. A times c, that's 1. Sum of 2, it's got to be the same two factors, 1 and 1. 2's minus, so these will both be negative. So, and the y has a 1 in front of it technically, so only need 2 parentheses. So y minus 1, and of course I write that as y minus 1 quantity squared. And over here that's 6. Okay, so the center is 3 and 1 with the radius as 6 with a square root. Now that's not a perfect square, so I'm just going to say square root of the number 6. Okay, graphing a circle is real easy. You just got to know the center and the radius. The center is 7 and 1. Opposites, remember. And the radius is the square root of 100, which equals 10. So 7, 1, I just go to 7, and then 1's about right here. And then I got to go 10 units every which way. So if I'm at 1, I go up to 11. I'm going by 10. If I'm at 7 and I go this way 10, I'd be at negative 3. If I'm at 7, I go this way 10, I'm about at 17. And if I'm at 1, I'm going to be, and I go down 10, that's going to be at negative 9. You just go 10 units every which way. Boom. Okay, next one, center. Well, the x would be 0, the y would be negative 5, so I go down here, that's my center. And the radius is the square root of 81, which equals 9. So if I'm at negative 5 and go up 9, that'd be about 4. 0 go to 9, it'd be right here. 0 go to 9, you'd be at negative 9. If I'm at negative 5 and go down 9, you're just going 9 units every which way. Okay, circle. Okay, now this is kind of a tricky one. I'll be the first to admit. A rock is dropped into a pond, creating a circular ripple. The radius of the ripple increases steadily at 6 centimeters per second. A toy boat is floating on the pond, 10 meters east and 4 meters north of the spot where the rock was dropped. We're going to have this be the spot where the rock was dropped, the origin. How long does it take the ripple to reach the boat? Now, how long means I'm finding these seconds. And that's your time, and that's your distance divided by your speed. Well, I know the speed. I know the speed's 6 cm per second, so I cross that out and just put 6. Now you want to put the label cm seconds, because that's important later. Okay, now what they did was they dropped it 10 meters east, so east is this way, and 4 meters north, that's this way. Okay, I want to know when the ripple goes here, and it goes every which way, kind of right there. But I need to find out how long it is from here to here. That's my distance. Well, if I make a right triangle out of it, I know from here to here is 10, and from here to here is 4. And I don't know this, but that is my C, my hypotenuse, okay? So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, and it doesn't matter what A and B are really. That can be A, that can be B. You can also have that be A, that be B. So A, we'd have 4 to the second plus 10 to the second equals, and I don't know the C, so X is second. So it's 16 plus 100. That's going to be 16, 116. And I got to find the square root of that. And that's what she was talking about yesterday, of how the Pythagorean theorem also does the radius of a circle. Okay, 10.77. So C is 10.77, and that's my distance from here to here. But wait a second. These are in meters, so that would mean my 10.77 is in meters. I need to convert that to centimeters. Well, there's 100 centimeters in a meter, so I could times that by 100, and now that becomes 107.7. Now I can divide. 107.7 divided by 6, 18. So the times the distance or the speed, I knew the speed. Distance, I just make a right triangle and use the Pythagorean theorem to find how long that is. And remember, that was in meters because these were in meters. This was in centimeters, so I had to get them to be the same distance unit, and I times 100. Okay, a cell phone network uses towers to transmit calls. Each tower transmits to a circular area. On a grid of a city, the coordinates of the location and radius of each tower covered are as follows. Tower A is at 0, 0 with a 3 miles radius, so I need to make the center there, and it's 3, 3, 3, and then you can't really go down that far. I'll just go here. Okay, that's Tower A. Tower B is at 5, 3. Okay, that's the center, so 5 and 3. And that's going to cover a 2.5 mile radius, 2.5. So here, here, 2, here, and here. Okay, and that's Tower B. Tower C is at 2, 5, so 2, 5. Now they are going to overlap a little bit. That covers a 2 mile radius, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and as I said, they're going to interlap, so that's fine. Okay, J. J's at 1, 1, so I need to find out where that's at. So 1, 1, well, that's obviously an A. That's the only one that's in. K. K's at 4, 2, so 4, 2. That's in the B range, inside of B. L. L's at 3.5, 4.5, so 3.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Now, that's inside two of them. It's inside the C and the B because it's in the interlapping point. So C and B. M's at 2 and 2.8, so 2 and 2.8. It's kind of right here, be right below the 3. And that's at none of them because remember, this coordinate here is at 3. So that's outside any of them, so I put NA. Okay, and then N is 1, 6. So 1, 6. And that's inside C. All right, guys, that's all I have to say on that. I hope it's been informative, and make sure you have the notes down. If I was going too fast, you come talk to me.